Hey guys. This is a little bit of a meditation, I guess, on the invisible warfare that we're all fighting. Which is not exclusive to prison ministry, obviously, but since I've been doing this, I've really seen so many concrete examples of the persecution and oppression that many people endure when they make a commitment to grow closer to God and become more Christ-like. And I suppose I'm making this video tonight because of something that happened actually this morning. It really got me thinking about this. Now, I'm not one of these people that always is pointing fingers and blaming demons for everything. I don't do that. But I also think it's a mistake to completely write this off. And I think that anyone who is a serious Christian will know what I'm talking about. This morning, I was supposed to go see a friend of mine who he's got about 2 months left on a sentence at a federal prison. It's a low security federal prison. And I'd been there before. I knew the drill, I knew the dress code, I knew that I had to have my insurance card, my car registration, all of those things, because this particular prison is on a military base, even though it's not a military prison. So you can't even drive onto the property until they've seen that your car is really yours. For whatever stupid reason, and that rustling, by the way, is the cat. That's the cat. Hi, Milo. You may hear him kind of clamoring for attention. Anyway, I got down there, and I realized that I didn't have a paper copy of my car registration. I had it on my iPad, I had the PDF, but I didn't have a printed copy, and I thought, oh my God, they're not going to let me on the base. But I didn't have a choice but to try, so I drove up to the trailer, you know, because when you drive onto this base, there's like a mobile home that they plopped in the middle of the road. And that guard takes your driver's license, your registration, some more information, your insurance card. They want to know what inmate you want to see. Then they let you on the property. So I had my old expired registration, and I thought, well, maybe if I show him this and then I explain that I just renewed it and I show him on the iPad that I've renewed it, he'll let me on. He was like, no, I can't do that. So I said, all right, well, what can I do then? And he says, well, you can go back into town and you could find a way to print it out there and then just turn around and come back in. I'll let you in as soon as you have this paper copy. Bear in mind, by this point, I'm late now because I was supposed to be there at noon and it's now, 10 after. And my friend had called me this morning to make sure I was coming. So I had literally just confirmed this with him an hour ago. So I turn my car around and I drive into town. And when I say town, there's like a post office and a VFW hall. I mean, this is in the middle of the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. So I'm looking for something like a Staples or an Office Max or a Kinko's. And of course, there's nothing. So out of desperation, I pull into a hotel parking lot and I run inside and I try to, bat my eyes at the guy behind the desk and ask him if he could print out my registration for me. And he was like, sure, absolutely. But he couldn't let me on their computer because it was just a business computer with no internet access. So he tried to Xerox the iPad. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. So he tried a couple times and he felt really badly that it wasn't working. And I said, you know what? It's not a big problem. Thank you. I know you're trying to help me. I got back in the car. 15 minutes later, I find another business. It was like an auto parts store. I go in there and there's this grizzled old woman behind the counter and I give her my story. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get to the prison. I need registration. I have it on the iPad. Is there any way that I could print this out? I'm happy to pay you. I'll pay you $20 for one printout. But she gave me the same line, like, we don't have internet access here that I can give you, but there's a public library 3 blocks down the road. Give it a try. So at least now I figure, well, okay, I'm getting somewhere. So I thank her. I go to the library. Thank God they were open. And I, again, third time now, explained to the woman behind the desk my spiel. I said, I don't have a library card. Can I pay you or pay the library to print out this registration? I'm going to the prison. I'm now almost an hour late by the way, and my gas light is on. So she says, all right, sure, I'm going to let you use a computer here for free, and then when you need to print, you just tell me, and it's 10 cents a page. So finally I'm thinking, all right, well, my buddy's going to wonder where I am, but at least I'm not going to be a no-show. So I'm using this ancient library computer. And of course, when I go to print, it won't let me download the PDF to the hard drive. Sorry, that's the cat in the box. Anyway, it won't let me download the PDF to the hard drive on the computer, and I don't have a thumb drive on me. And what's funny about this is normally I do have a thumb drive, but I'd left it in my other purse. So I'm thinking all of this, and I can't print this damn registration. Thankfully, one of the head librarians came over, and she had like a personal thumb drive that she let me use. And I was able to print it out, and by the time I got back to the prison, it was 20 after 1. I was an hour and 20 minutes late. And I sign in, give them my friend's name, his register number, fill out the logbook. There's this Xerox you have to fill out that says, like, I promise that I don't have any narcotics on me, I don't have any electronics, I don't have a cell phone, I don't have a camera, stuff like that. So I'm waiting in the lobby to go through the security screening process, and the guard comes out and he's like, well, guess what? Our x-ray machine just broke. Not the metal detector that you walk through, but the x-ray thing where you put all your belongings through. And at this point, it was everything I could do to just keep from crying. You know, I was like, okay, can I go back and see my friend? And he says, well, all right, I'm going to let you go through the metal detector, and then I have to wand you because the underwear in my bra all sets off the machine. And then he had to physically inspect my coat, and he wanted to look at my wedding ring and stuff. So finally, by about 1:30, 1:40, I was back in the visiting room. Actually, they have to walk you across the campus, whatever. But so finally, I would say by around 5 minutes of 2, in comes my buddy, and I couldn't stop apologizing to him the whole time. But he understood that there was nothing that you could do, and a lot of these prisoners, they do have telephone access, but they can call you, but you can't call them. So if for some reason I'd been in a car accident or whatever, God forbid, I wouldn't have been able to let him know. So we got about an hour to spend together, and it was lovely, but I just, we were talking about this kind of stuff, because this happens all the time in a prison. There's a new guard who decides to not let visitors in that day, or there's a broken x-ray machine, or there's a new policy and you don't have all the forms you need. Just the most banal stuff. And I believe firmly that in a lot of these cases, there's nothing that Satan hates more than a person who's trying to get right with God or return to being right with God. He hates that. It terrifies him and it enrages him because he knows he's losing that person. And he will do anything that he can to try and, yank them off of the ladder of salvation. So in the prison population, where you are dealing with people who have historically demonstrated that they have poor impulse control, if he can just make them angry or frustrated, that might be all that's needed for them to snap and assault someone, or to snap and say something to a guard, and then all of a sudden they've got guards that are out for them. So my buddy and I talked about this a little bit, and I just said, you know what, when this happens, let's just take courage. It's annoying as hell, but guess what? It's telling us that we've got Satan scared. Right? He's oppressing us because he knows that he's losing us, that we're slipping through his fingers. And when we are abused or made fun of, or when there are these roadblocks in our way, we have to just keep calm and carry on and say, glory to God that I'm being tested like this, because I know that God is going to give me the strength to deal with this in a productive way. So I just got a kick out of that today. Very, very, very interesting day. After I got in there, it was fine. We had a nice visit, and we were even allowed to take some pictures together, which was neat. A lot of the federal prisons, I don't know if it costs money or not, but the prisoners get these vouchers that they can use to have either their own photograph taken, or they can get a photo taken with like a friend or family member. And you kind of go over to this one corner, and you know, the visiting room at a prison usually looks kind of like the DMV. But you go over to this one corner, and they have this giant wooden mural thing that's set against the wall, and it's like palm trees, and it's like a Hawaiian luau scene. Is hilarious. And you stand in front of that, so it's not obvious that that you're in a prison, and then they take your photo. So he's gonna send me photos once he gets the prints of them, but I thought that was neat that we got to do that. So anyway, just wanted to get this out here before I forgot how crazy this afternoon was. So I guess that's it for now. Okay, bye.